I want to speak about a principle that has changed lives, built empires, and transformed ordinary individuals into legends. The power of hard work. We live in a world that often glorifies shortcuts. We scroll through social media and see overnight success, fame without effort, and riches without struggle. But behind every real success story, behind every champion, leader, and innovator, there is one common thread: relentless, consistent, and determined hard work. Hard work is not just about sweating physically. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the unseen tasks, embracing the grind, and trusting the process when no one is watching. It's the courage to try again after failing, the discipline to stay focused when others quit, and the strength to sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term victory. Hard work builds character. It develops patience. It teaches resilience. And most importantly, it earns you respect, not just from others, but from yourself. So today, let's not look for the easy way out. Let's not fear failure or hardship. Instead, let's embrace the struggle, commit to the climb, and let our results speak louder than our excuses. Remember, talent can give you a head start, but hard work finishes the race. Hard work may not offer instant gratification, but its rewards are deep and lasting. Unlike quick fixes or luck-based outcomes, hard work lays a foundation that builds strong, sustainable results in life, relationships, and careers. Every effort compounds over time, and what seems invisible in the beginning becomes undeniable in the end. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. But discipline built through hard work is what keeps you going when the excitement fades. True achievers don't wait to feel like it. They act despite their emotions. Hard work develops this discipline, forging a mindset that thrives even during the toughest seasons. Every obstacle you overcome through hard work adds to your strength, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Struggle isn't something to avoid. It's something to lean into. Those who work hard develop a mental toughness that can't be shaken by failure, rejection, or fear. Talent is a gift, but without effort, it dies in silence. Hard work levels the playing field. A person with average ability but unstoppable work ethic can surpass someone with natural talent who chooses comfort. Consistency beats occasional brilliance every time. When you know you've earned something through your own sweat and persistence, your confidence grows. Hard work is not just about external success. It builds internal pride. You begin to respect yourself for the dedication you've shown, the battles you fought, and the goals you didn't give up on. People are drawn to those who work hard, not just for admiration, but for inspiration. When others see your dedication, it encourages them to push harder in their own lives. Your effort becomes a silent message to the world. If I can keep going, so can you. In a world obsessed with speed and instant gratification, it's easy to overlook the value of consistent, steady effort. But the truth is, real, meaningful success doesn't happen overnight. It's built brick by brick through persistent hard work. It's not about doing one big thing once. It's about doing the small things right, day after day, even when no one is clapping for you. Hard work acts like a silent architect, laying invisible foundations long before the final structure is seen. At first, the progress may seem slow, almost unnoticeable. You show up early, stay late, give your best, and yet, the results might not reflect the energy you've invested. That's when most people give up. But those who keep going, those who trust the process and continue putting in the effort, eventually witness something extraordinary. The momentum builds, the results compound, and what was once a distant dream starts becoming a reality. Whether you're building a career, learning a skill, improving your health, or growing a relationship, the one thing that guarantees sustainable progress is effort over time. Shortcuts may offer quick wins, but they rarely last. Hard work, on the other hand, may be slow, but its rewards are deep-rooted and durable. It instills habits that continue to benefit you for years, long after the initial goals have been achieved. The reason hard work creates long-term results is because it forces you to grow into the kind of person who can handle success. It sharpens your discipline, trains your focus, and strengthens your patience. Success achieved without effort can be overwhelming or even harmful. But when you've worked hard for something, you've also built the internal strength to manage it. You don't just arrive at the destination. You become someone who belongs there. Every drop of sweat, every late night, every early morning adds up. It's all part of the process of building something that can endure challenges, setbacks, and time itself. While others chase the fast route, the hard worker builds a path so strong that even storms can't shake it. Motivation is powerful, but it's also unreliable. It comes in waves. Some days you're overflowing with inspiration, and on others, you feel completely empty. If your success depends solely on being motivated, your progress will be inconsistent and fragile. That's where discipline steps in, not as a feeling, but as a force. A force you control, a commitment you uphold regardless of emotion. Unlike motivation, discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it simply demands that you show up. Discipline is what drives you to work even when your bed is warm, your body is tired, or your mind is filled with excuses. It's the decision to push forward, to honor your goals, even when no one is watching, no one is praising, and nothing feels exciting. It's the engine that powers your momentum when motivation shuts down. Anyone can work hard when they're inspired. The true test is whether you keep going when you're not. People often wait to feel ready, to feel like it, to start something. But discipline doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It acts, it builds a rhythm, a structure in your life, turning temporary effort into long-term consistency. And with consistency comes mastery. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce your identity as someone who does what needs to be done, not someone who depends on mood or convenience. Hard work becomes sustainable only when it's backed by discipline. Because the journey to any meaningful goal is long, filled with distractions, temptations, and setbacks. Motivation might carry you through the first few steps, but discipline carries you through the miles that follow. It's what separates wishful thinkers from true achievers. It's the bridge between setting goals and actually reaching them. Discipline sharpens your focus. It removes the noise and brings clarity to what matters most. It teaches you to say no. Not because you're missing out, but because you've decided to prioritize growth over comfort. Over time, discipline becomes a lifestyle, not a struggle. It becomes who you are, not just what you do occasionally. It becomes the quiet power behind your every achievement. Struggle is often seen as something to avoid, something painful, something that slows us down. But in truth, struggle is one of life's greatest teachers. It is through struggle that we discover how strong we really are. The challenges you face, the hardships you endure, and the obstacles you push through don't weaken you. They refine you. They shape your character, toughen your mindset, and sharpen your ability to handle pressure. Without struggle, there can be no growth, no resilience, no depth. When you choose the path of hard work, you're also choosing a path of inevitable struggle. Effort multiplies your potential. The world is full of talented people who never made it because they chose comfort over commitment. But history remembers those who showed up every day, who didn't wait for inspiration, who practiced their craft until it became excellence. Hard work outlasts flashiness. It outperforms luck. It overtakes natural ability. Because while talent may open the door, only hard work can keep it open. Think of the countless stories we hear. The athlete who was overlooked in high school but became a champion because of relentless training. The student who was never labeled gifted but topped exams through focused study habits. The entrepreneur who didn't have elite connections or capital but built an empire from grit, perseverance, and a tireless work ethic. These aren't anomalies. They're proof of a truth society often forgets. Effort changes the game. The problem with talent without effort is that it builds a false sense of security. When you're good at something naturally, you might not feel the urgency to improve. You might coast on what you've always done, never challenging yourself to go deeper or higher. But comfort kills growth. That's where the hard worker, though perhaps less naturally skilled, begins to rise because they never stop learning. They don't fear repetition. They see value in every mistake, every rep, every long hour spent refining their craft. Hard work not only closes the gap, it reverses it. Over time, effort breeds experience, resilience, and skill that talent alone cannot match. When the talented one stumbles or grows tired, the hard worker is still moving forward, fueled not by applause or ability, but by determination and self-discipline. It's not always obvious at first, but over months and years, the difference becomes undeniable. There's also another dimension to consider. Hard work builds reliability and trust. In any team, any relationship, or any organization, people rely not just on brilliance, but on consistency. You can't always count on a talented person who lacks discipline. Their performance is unpredictable, their mood affects their output, and they may disappear when things get tough. But the person who works hard, they show up, they stay committed, they follow through. That makes them invaluable in the real world. And hard work doesn't just bring success, it earns respect. People admire talent, but they respect hustle. They may applaud someone who's gifted, but they're inspired by someone who's relentless. Your work ethic speaks louder than your words, louder than your achievements. It tells the world, I don't depend on luck. I build my own future. So yes, talent can be impressive, but it's fleeting if not sharpened. Without effort, talent becomes a memory. But hard work, even without talent, becomes a legacy. There's a kind of confidence that doesn't come from compliments, titles, or applause. It comes from knowing you gave everything you had. It's the quiet but powerful sense of pride you feel when you've pushed yourself, sacrificed comfort, and stayed committed to something bigger than excuses. That's self-respect, and nothing builds it more deeply than hard work. When you consistently choose effort over laziness, growth over comfort, and action over procrastination, you begin to develop a powerful internal dialogue. I can rely on myself. I keep my word. I don't quit on me. I don't quit on me. That feeling of showing up for yourself day after day becomes the foundation of real self-worth. You're no longer waiting for external validation. You begin to respect yourself because you've earned your own trust through discipline, consistency, and sacrifice. Self-respect isn't built through fantasy or wishful thinking. It's earned in the small, unseen moments. The early mornings when you could have slept in, the late nights when you chose to keep going, the countless times you said a no to distractions and yes to your growth. Every time you choose the hard path over the easy one, you tell yourself that your future matters. Your dreams matter. And most importantly, you matter. People often look outward for esteem, for others to recognize their worth. But when your confidence is tied to the opinions of others, it becomes fragile. It can be taken away with one insult or rejection. Hard work, however, shifts the source of validation from outside to inside. You stop needing to prove your value because your actions are already proof. You've seen yourself fight, grind, endure, and rise. That inner record becomes your shield, something no one can take away. And it's not just about big victories. Even the smallest wins, finishing a workout, staying consistent with your goals, choosing discipline over distractions, these daily efforts stack up. They form a story in your mind, the story of someone who's capable, someone who's committed, someone who doesn't fold under pressure. That story becomes your identity, not through fantasy, but through effort. Hard work is a mirror. It shows you who you are when things aren't easy. It strips away excuses and reveals your integrity. And when you face those hard moments and still choose to give your best, you grow in a way that no one can see but you can feel. That's the type of self-respect that lasts, not dependent on achievements or outcomes, but on the honesty of your own effort. When you commit to hard work, you're doing more than chasing goals. You're setting a standard for how you treat yourself. You're declaring that your time has value, your dreams have weight, and your actions carry meaning. This personal standard is what builds self-respect. Because every choice to work harder when it's easier to give up becomes a vote in favor of your own worth. Hard work holds you accountable. It forces you to confront your limits, your distractions, and your excuses. And in doing so, it teaches you responsibility, not to others, but to yourself. That responsibility becomes powerful. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, and think differently. You don't look for shortcuts or sympathy. You look for solutions. That mindset is not something you're born with. It's developed, one difficult decision at a time. Self-respect also comes from knowing that you are not fragile. That you can endure hardship, pain, and fatigue without falling apart. The discipline you build through hard work gives you a sense of control over your emotions, your behavior, and ultimately your life. While others react impulsively or blame circumstances, you stand firm because you've trained yourself to push through resistance. That type of self-mastery brings a deep and quiet pride. You stop needing the world to believe in you because you believe in you. One of the most profound things about hard work is that it's honest. You can't fake it. You can't outsource it. Either you put in the effort or you don't. And you know the truth. That truth shapes how you see yourself. If you cut corners, you may fool others, but deep inside, something erodes. Your self-image suffers. But when you do the work, fully, sincerely, even if no one sees it, that knowledge becomes your confidence, your credibility, and your self-respect. And the more you work, the more you realize that you deserve the rewards, not because you're lucky, not because you were handed anything, but because you earned it. That creates a deeper appreciation for everything you achieve. You stop comparing yourself to others, because your journey is no longer about status. It's about integrity. About being proud of the way you show up, the way you stay committed, and the way you refuse to lower your standards for temporary comfort. This is how effort transforms into self-respect, not just through external progress, but through internal alignment. You start living in harmony with your values. You begin to feel proud of the person you're becoming, not just for what you're achieving, but for how you're achieving it. Hard work doesn't just elevate your own life. It sends a ripple through the lives of everyone around you. Whether you realize it or not, people are watching. They see how you handle adversity, how you keep going when things get tough, and how you stay committed even when there's no immediate reward. Your effort becomes a silent testimony of what's possible. It becomes a living message that says, this is what dedication looks like. In a world full of shortcuts, comfort zones, and constant distractions, seeing someone who's truly devoted to hard work stands out like a flame in the dark. It gives people hope. It challenges excuses. It reawakens ambition in those who have let theirs fall asleep. You may think your grind is personal, and it is, but it also becomes deeply influential. Because every time you choose discipline over delay, every time you push through when others would pause, you're setting a new standard. Not just for yourself, but for everyone who crosses your path. Sometimes people don't need your words. They need your example. They need to see someone who doesn't give up, who doesn't complain, who doesn't crumble under pressure. They need to witness that kind of strength to believe they can build it too. And that's the hidden power of hard work. It empowers others. It teaches without speaking. It motivates without even trying. It stirs something inside others that says, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Your work ethic can ignite a fire in someone else, a friend, a sibling, a teammate, a stranger. It can reshape their mindset, change their habits, and rewire the way they approach their own goals. You become a symbol of what's possible when you stop relying on talent or luck and start relying on effort, commitment, and discipline. That kind of inspiration is rare because it's earned, not performed. Even your struggles inspire. When others see that you keep going through failures, rejections, and delays, they begin to understand that success isn't about perfection. It's about perseverance. Your willingness to keep working in silence, to keep sacrificing without recognition, becomes a form of quiet leadership. You lead by action, not position, by integrity, not image. That's the kind of influence that lasts. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because your consistency was the strongest. What's even more powerful is that your hard work might inspire someone who's completely lost. Someone who's doubting themselves, who's buried under fear, who's convinced they'll never be enough. But when they see your example, not flashy, not boastful, just real, raw effort, it wakes them up. It reminds them that greatness isn't out of reach. It's built, one day at a time, through choices, struggle, and a relentless will to rise. Sometimes the most powerful way to change the world isn't by speaking louder, it's by working harder. People are drawn to authenticity, to raw effort, to the quiet perseverance of someone who refuses to quit. Your hard work tells a story without you saying a single word. It's a story of resilience, of courage, of rising above limitations. And that story has the ability to unlock something in others that they may have forgotten. Belief in themselves. When people watch you keep showing up, when they see you grinding behind the scenes, improving inch by inch, failing and getting back up again, it makes them reflect. It makes them question their own excuses, reevaluate their own goals.